Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
You're very dark. You need your face is really dark. Ah, that's better. Okay. We are live, but you may want to start with an invocation.
Okay.
Okay.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jaya Padire Mutam Swakatha Punyaslavana Kirtana Hridayantastu Yapatrani Namakesu Hitsatam Kataveshu Bhatreshu Nityam Bhagavate Tam Shlokar Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 29, verses 4 and 5. This chapter is titled Krishna and the Gopis Meet for the Rasa Dance. During the autumn month of the full moon, Bharat Purnima. Text 4. Nishamya Gitam Tadananga Vardhanam Prajastriya Krishna Grita Mahanta Ajagur Anyonyam Alakshitodyama Sayatra Kanto Jabalola Kundala. Synonyms: Nishamya, hearing; Geetam, the music; Tat, that; Ananga, stupid; Vardhanam, which fortifies; Vrajstriya, young women of Vraja; Krishna, by Krishna; Grita, seized; Manasa, whose minds; Ajagmo, they went; Anyonyam, to one another; Lakshita, unnoticed; Udayama, Udyama, they are going forward; Sa, he; Yatra, where; Kanta, their boyfriend; Java, because of their haste; Lola, swinging; Kundala, whose earrings. Translation by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Actually, the translation is done by Nityananda Maharaj, but the inspiration is from the Krishna book. When the young women of Vrindavan heard Krishna's flute song, which arouses romantic feelings, their minds were captivated by the Lord. They went to where their lover awaited, each unknown to the others, moving so quickly that their earrings swung back and forth. Purport. Apparently, each gopi went secretly, hoping to avoid advertising to her rivals the fact that young Krishna was in the mood for romantic affairs. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti poetically describes the situation as follows. Krishna instigated a terrible act of thievery in Vrindavan when he played on his flute. The song of his flute entered through the ears of the gopis into the inner treasure chamber of their hearts. That wonderful music stole all their most valuable possessions. their sobriety, shyness, fear, and discrimination, along with their very minds. And in a split second, this music delivered all these goods to Krishna. Now each gopi went to beg the Lord to return her personal property. Each beautiful young girl was thinking, I have to capture that great thief. And thus they went forward, each unknown to the others. Text 5. Duhantyo yayuh kaschid doham hitva samutsuka payo disritya samyavam anudvasya parayayu. Synonyms. Duhantya, in the middle of milking the cows, Abhiyayu went away, Kaschit, some of them, Doham, milking, Hitva, abandoning, Amutsuka, extremely eager, Paya, milk, Adhistritya, Adhistritya, having placed on the stove some yavam, cakes made of flour, Anudvasya, without removing from the oven, Apara, others, Yayu, went. Translation. Some of the gopis were milking cows when they heard Krishna's flute. They stopped milking and went off to meet him. Some left milk curdling on the stove, and others left cakes burning in the oven. Purport. The eagerness of these cowherd girls, so lovingly devoted to young Krishna, is shown here. So we are in this chapter now where Krishna is going to be performing his Rasa Leela. Om Jnanativrindasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Svayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Sri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavansha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitam Tansajivam Advaita Savadhutam Harijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Pada Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakha Vitamscha Sri Vishakha Vitamscha Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pacharine Nirvishesh Shunyavadi Paschata Deshtayane Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivashwadi Gaur Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. So now we are reading. You might want to change the angle of the camera there or the computer so I can see all of you sitting there, but I can barely see you all. Yeah, better. Can you hear me? It looks like everybody, the things froze there. So your screen is frozen there. Looks like Can you hear me or it is gone offline? Okay. Srimad Bhagavatam, Kantra Srimad Bhagavatam. It's compiled by Vyasadeva, and it's been existing for over 5,000 years. It's describing the activities of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In this particular chapter, Canto 10, it is called the Ashraya chapter, is the supreme shelter. And it specifically talks about Krishna's pastimes. And we are here today discussing Krishna's pastimes, the extremely confidential pastime, which is the rasa dance or his loving affairs with the gopis of Vrindavan. This is such a topic that one should not discuss in public. However, we are going chronologically, trying to assimilate the knowledge that is given, because Srimad Bhagavatam is the complete science about understanding the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And here we are talking about Krishna in the month of autumn, like October or so, and full moon night, and there is neither cold nor hot, pleasant breeze is blowing, no snow, question of snow at that time. The autumn weather, some leaves, of course, fall weather kind, falling from the tree or about to fall. In all, a very pleasant environment. And Krishna had a desire to enjoy. And he starts to play on his flute. And as soon as the sound of the flute played by Lord Krishna, the music, entered the ears of the gopis, they get drawn, just like how a magnet draws pieces of iron towards itself. Even if they don't want to, they are forced. So even if the iron doesn't want to, it is forced to move towards the magnet. So all the gopis who were there in Vrindavan, they were automatically drawn. And each one of them wanted to possess Krishna for herself. So when they got drawn, because they are naturally in their spiritual bodies, so because they're so pure. And Prabhupada mentioned that in the summary it is mentioned that those who are not, whose husbands objected to their going, they left their physical body and they went in their spiritual bodies. So spiritual body, material body sometimes are within the same body, and spiritual body sometimes can be separated out from there, while the body is lying somewhere else. So they are all pure devotees of the Lord because they are serving the Lord with all there. And what is the best service? Like, Dharmam tu sakshat bhagavad pranitam. So the instructions of the Lord, the God's instruction, God's desire, anything that the God wishes, that needs to be fulfilled to the best of ones without any argument. So the gopis, that's why they are regarded as the topmost of the bhaktas. But they are willing to give themselves to Krishna no matter what, for Krishna's pleasure, not for their pleasure, for Krishna's pleasure. Just like we know when Narada Muni performed that pastime with Krishna, and Krishna performed that pastime with the Narada Muni, sorry, and he feigned headache. I said that I'm having a terrible headache, and can you help me? And Narada Muni asked him, what could be the treatment for this? He said, like, if a true devotee of mine, somebody can get the charan raj, the dust from the feet of the pure devotee, that I can apply on my head, and my headache will then go away. And Narada Muni thought that, oh my God, do I want to go to hell by giving, even though he considered himself a devotee, by giving my dust from my feet? So they go to several brahmanas and all, they all refuse. Right? We don't want to go to hell. Then Krishna, go to the gopis in Vrindavan. Maybe you will get it there. Then Narada Muni goes there and they said, what? Krishna is having headache? Here, take as much dust as you want, actually. Okay, we don't care what will happen to us. But Krishna, under all circumstances, must not be having any uncomfortable situation. So it's that much the love is there. Don't care about whether they will go to hell or whether they will go to any other kind of hell, like the worst kind of hell. But as long as their Lord, Krishna, is getting the medicine for taking care of his headache. So his headache when his headache is gone, then Krishna, and that is what that matters. Krishna must not be inconvenienced. So here we see all the gopis getting drawn towards Krishna. He was playing the flute, as I mentioned, just like. So anybody who is into the bhakti marg feels drawn towards Krishna one way or the other. And helplessly sometimes. But sometimes, because our anarthas are not completely cleaned up, we still have desire to enjoy. We still have desires to enjoy from this material world the fruit of our labor. So we sometimes forget our prime responsibilities, which is Jiva Swarupa Hoy Krishna Nityadas. We are the eternal servants. That's our constitutional position. And in that constitutional position, We're required to serve Krishna one way or the other in different rasas, whatever gives pleasure to Krishna, whether as a dasa, whether as a friend, or whether as a parent, the feelings, conjugal love, like in separation from Krishna. So here, and those anarthas are equal to, like, sometimes when you cover the iron with a thick cloth or the thick piece of plastic or something, then the magnet will not be able to attract it. So those impure devotees who are still having desires, material desires, they don't get attracted so strongly towards Krishna. So the attraction is so strong that it mentions here that some of the gopis, when they heard the flute, some of them were milking, some of them were boiling the milk, some of them were curdling the milk, some of them were churning the milk, some of them were making cakes. So, they left everything and ran to where Krishna was. And each gopi went there without informing the other one that I'm going to Krishna there. Because they were not willing to share Krishna with anybody else. So that's how strong the attraction is. Because when it is happening, and one is helplessly getting drawn towards Krishna for Krishna's pleasure. So what is this pleasure potency in Krishna? How does Krishna? So why this? So Krishna, when he desires, Krishna is one, and everything is Krishna, and everything is within Krishna, and now we of course see, there is variegatedness with so many jivas, 8.4 million species of life. Human beings too. The last 400,000 are like human beings. So how did this happen? It was all due to Krishna's desire to enjoy. When he is one, you cannot enjoy, right? Alone you can be for how long? Cannot enjoy. This is a game that is going on that we see here in this material world. But those who are strongly drawn towards Krishna, they try to enhance Anandam Buddhivardhanam Pratipadam Purnamrita Swadanam. So they are always, at all time, doing things that will enhance the pleasure of the Lord. So they are the ones who are Nitya Muktas, or they are the ones who are Sadhana Bhaktas, who are always trying to please the personality of Godhead. So in one example, that I have heard from acharyas, where we have to dovetail all our action. So in one instance, there was a devotee who was going by boat, and there was a stormy weather, and the boat starts to get water in it, so it was going to sink. And there were other people traveling also, and they are all worried about, we are all going to die. But this devotee starts putting more water into the boat. If Krishna's desire is to have the boat sink, then I want to participate in that, his desire, so that he is pleased. So that's how, without caring for one's life, one has to surrender to the Lord. In that spirit of surrender, we are always. So that's where, when it is And it is good for Krishna, it is good for us. If Krishna wishes that we all die, then we should also die. Because that's good for Krishna. That's all right. But Krishna never does that. Krishna never does that. Paritanaya sadhuna vinashaya cha duskrita. So Krishna is always, always extending a protective hand towards his devotees and gives them the facilities. Facilities also that the devotees, whatever they get, they want to offer it to the Lord. So Krishna is pleased by this action of devotees because they don't know nothing other than the Lord, other than Krishna. So devotees like these verses say that all the gopis, they know nothing other than Krishna. They don't want to know anything. So one must not try to imitate the gopis, but one can develop the attitude to clean one's heart of anarthas that are there. So when the heart is clean, our attraction for Krishna will be even stronger, much, much stronger. Right now we may be crawling towards him, but we will be running with full speed to Krishna all the time. So this example, you see how Krishna demonstrates himself in his incarnation as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He would see Krishna everywhere. He'll see a dune of sand and he'll say, oh, that's Govardhan Parvat. And he'll run full speed just like as if he has wings to go and embrace Govardhan. Because Govardhan is not different from Krishna. He'll go to the temple and he'll see Lord Jagannath and he'll cry, and and then in the room also he'll see Krishna everywhere and he'll bang his heads everywhere. Just trying to embrace Krishna and in the process hitting his head on a pillar or wherever. So, we are, that much purity that is there of course, is Krishna himself, but he is demonstrating to us what kind of attraction is there for Krishna and how we should be developing that loving feeling uh, towards Krishna, so that our existence is served its purpose, that we have uh, been able to purify our heart, our mind from all the worldly affairs, all the anarthas, and even in this life, we are able to achieve the lotus feet of the Lord. Because as part and parcel of the Lord, it is our duty. Mamayvam Sujiva Bhuta Jivas Sanatana. So we are part and parcel of the Lord. So, we have to dovetail all our actions for Krishna's pleasure. And sometimes we wonder that, is that going to give us the happiness that we are craving for? Of course, it is not just going to give happiness, it will give extreme happiness. No anxiety of any kind. Absence of anxiety doesn't equate to happiness, but the happiness of being in close proximity to Krishna or serving Krishna with the pure this thing is so strong that Brahma realization is nothing. It's like a drop compared to the ocean of devotional service, rendering devotional service to the Lord, which is like an ocean. So the goal should be with pure mind, pure heart, getting rid of our anarthas, need to serve Krishna. And then you will see that, your tears are flowing automatically for the Lord. Your voice starts trembling. The bodily hairs stand on end. And these are considered like the waves of ecstasy. And one can experience these things when one is very strongly dedicated to Lord Krishna and his devotees, and is enabled to bring that bhava, bring that emotion. Otherwise, these material elements, panchabhuta, including mind, mind, intelligence, everything, they only serve to take the living being, the soul within us, away from the Lord. Because they are all seeking comfort, pleasure. The supreme pleasure that if we seek, that has to come from the soul dedicated to Krishna. So then, mind dedicated, turned towards Krishna, mind dedicated to Krishna equals soul enjoying with Krishna. So, and the processes are given by which we can invoke and purify ourselves and invoke those emotions with which we can connect with bhava to the Supreme Lord. And the process is the chanting the holy names of the Lord. Chanting the holy name is not a activity. It is the means to connect to the super soul within us. So once the super soul is reached, then success of life. Won't have to take birth again. We will have regained our original Swarup, spiritual body, Swarup Siddhi. This is Swarup Siddhi. So we must not misunderstand that it is an ordinary mundane love affair between men and women, like between Krishna and the gopis, and that we can also do it. No. If we follow on the footsteps of the gopis, then we can elevate our life. But if we follow on these footsteps, or if we try to imitate Krishna's actions, then we dig a hell for ourselves. So with this, I'll stop. Thank you very much for joining in. Please forgive me for any mistakes, consciously or unconsciously. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripasindhubhyev cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. If any questions, comments, please feel free to address them. Thank you very much.
Sorry, we were muted. Thank you, Prabhu. Nice class. No questions. Thank you so much. Beautiful class. Appreciate it. Thank you.